world of green matters. This week, a Brazilian town disappearing into the ocean. And our Arctic ambassador turns one. But first, saving for the future, a global seed bank. Here at the Millennium Seed Bank in Britain, more than 1 billion plant seeds are housed. The Landmark Conservation Project, run by the Royal Botanic Gardens Kew, is a cooperative venture involving 50 countries. The project was launched following the first Earth Summit in Rio in 1992 and is a safeguard against the growing threat of environmental catastrophe.
What we're doing today is an insurance policy against the devastation that would wreak, by making sure that all of the plant life on this planet is logged, mapped, preserved. We know we can regerminate it. We know we can recreate the habitats that are necessary for the continuation of human life.
After initially concentrating on UK flora, the project's target now is collecting 10% of the world's flora by 2010, with priority on endangered species. The scheme also trains scientists in partner countries, including 29 in sub-Saharan Africa.
That is really one of the aspects I like with this program. It's not just a project which is out there in developing countries delivering what they need, but it's also teaching them how they can safeguard their own collection. We have nearly 1 or 2 PhD programs in each of our partners countries in sub-Saharan Africa. We have a long-term training program, technical program, either in country or here in the UK. They can come into these facilities to have more training, to be acquainted with all the equipment, all the techniques, all the protocol, and back in their country, they can replicate that.
The project also ensures that duplicate seeds are stored in the partner institutions around the world. Deposit number 1 billion is an endangered bamboo plant from Mali, West Africa. The bamboo is widely used, but sets seed only once every 7 years and is over-harvested.
The significance of the billionth seed really is to illustrate the value of just one seed. We're talking about 1 billion seeds, and the point we're making is that every one of those billion seeds has the potential to be a plant.
The Millennium Seed Bank provides a vital resource. Wild plants contain important gene traits for pest resistance and weather tolerance. As well as being food sources, they're also used in medicines. Plants are crucial in maintaining an ecological balance, helping to ensure a stable future for generations to come. It's said to have inspired ancient art and literature on China's dragon. But the Chinese alligator itself is almost past history. Today, fewer than 200 survive in the wild. Also known as a Yangtze alligator, it has been decades since this alligator swam in the river. Shy and solitary, the alligators retreated south as riverside development gobbled up wetlands, fouled the river and slowed its once mighty flow. With its habitat diminished, the alligator population plunged almost to the point of extinction. In the 1980s, the Chinese Alligator Breeding Research Centre in eastern Anhui Province was established. And now the Chinese alligator has other problems. They've bred well here at the centre. Too well, in fact, and the place is literally crawling with alligators.
We have very limited space at our centre. As you can see, the water is dirty. But it isn't because our workers are lazy. It is the natural result of the population density. This means we can only raise so many alligators. We can't raise any more than this. According to the laws of nature, a denser population than this can only lead to them dying out.
With a ready supply of food and mates, the alligators have flourished in captivity. the population climbing from 4,000 in 1998 to around 10,000 today. Attempts to release them into the wild have been sporadic and generally unsuccessful. Development, poaching and pollution along the Yangtze River have all taken a toll on the Chinese alligator. Of 150 released in 1990, very few have survived. In the past 2 years, the centre has only released a total of 12 alligators. Most of the centre's residents today are destined to either be sold to zoos or to spend the rest of their days entertaining the tourists that trickle through.
They don't seem really that scary or fierce now that I've actually seen them. They're quite cute. They don't seem despicable now. They're just another kind of animal. They're living creatures and they need us to protect them.
The centre's director, Zhu Jialong, takes a rather pragmatic approach to the overcrowding problem.
When we have a large number of alligators, we are planning to explore the alligator's medicinal value. According to China's traditional book of medicine, the alligator's meat and bones can cure asthma, and its blood serum can control the HIV virus. We are planning to research this and further develop other uses for the alligator in the future.
Smaller than its American counterpart, the Chinese alligator is docile and not known to attack humans. It is protected under Chinese law. China's gradual ecological improvements, including efforts to save the Yangtze, may one day see the alligators successfully return to the wild. The Netherlands is one of the world's top food producers and exporters. Almost 11,000 hectares of the countryside is covered with greenhouses, which, according to Greenpeace, contribute 12% of the nation's carbon emissions. However, new energy-efficient glasshouses currently on trial could dramatically cut energy consumption and even generate power to go into the national grid.
The idea was born in 1999 when we were thinking how to use solar energy that comes to greenhouses. There's approximately 3 times more solar energy in the greenhouse than needed, and it's pretty much that amount of energy that is wasted. So we were focused on a solution that would collect and store solar energy in the summer period and, at the same time, when the warmth is needed, would be sent back to the greenhouse.
Normally, greenhouse tops are open in summer to cool the inside and closed in winter when heating is used. With the closed greenhouse system, solar energy is collected and used to heat water stored in a tank underground. The stored warm water provides heating in winter, while a cold water tank cools the greenhouse in summer. Hot or cold air is distributed through a system of long duct pipes and is controlled by the air treatment unit, which is also used for active dehumidifying. When the greenhouse is cooled, moisture in the air precipitates onto cooling elements, recovering about half of the irrigation water. The system ensures that temperature, relative humidity and CO2 are all at optimum levels.
The closed greenhouse system gives us the advantage of being able to keep carbon dioxide in the greenhouse over the summer period. CO2 is needed for plants to grow, and when the level increases, then we can also count on increase of production. In our case, we've managed to increase production by 25%, And at the same time, we save 20 to 25% energy.
If we really want to make a big step forward in saving energy and reduction of CO2, then we have to try to make more growers use this solution. Therefore, we create subsidies for farmers who want to make a change and use the system. Their experience and learning will set an example for other farmers. Our ambition, together with the sector, is to make all greenhouses in the industry energy neutral by 2020. The ambition is needed to support development of new inventions and set the goal.
The Dutch government is under political and public pressure to reduce carbon emissions, and this project is viewed as a positive step forward.
And the other thing is that such greenhouses could produce quite a lot of extra energy, and that energy could be distributed to local businesses or houses.
The Netherlands' agricultural production is vital for the national economy, and with new improvements in the sector, its greenhouses can be truly green. In a mountainous region of the island of Java is the Tabahan Cave. Here, ancient stone formations and cultural traditions come together in a unique sensory experience. Local musicians gather every weekend to create traditional rhythmic gamelan music using the stalactites and stalagmites of the cave. 50-year-old Swinarto learned the art from his father and has been playing the instruments of the cave since 1977. He is one of very few cave musicians left and recently persuaded his 2 daughters to join his musical group, hoping to keep the endangered, age-old tradition alive.
It's different from other Javanese music made from iron and bronze. This is stone music, and we play it with feeling.
The Tabahan musicians are attracting interest from tourists who regularly gather to catch some authentic rock music. The local government is working to encourage the spread of the music and to conserve the area's numerous caves, including more than 20 with stalactites and stalagmites.
Ja, und das dauerte bis wir richtig großen Applaus verdient. Ja.
It was all cheers at Germany's Berlin Zoo when beloved polar bear Canute turned 1. With hundreds of fans and well-wishers in attendance, Canute's enduring celebrity status was very apparent. Canute and his twin were abandoned at birth and rescued by keepers. When his 4-day-old brother died, Canute became the first polar bear cub to be born and survive at the zoo in over 30 years. A tiny 800 grams, Canute spent his first 44 days in an incubator, after which his keeper Dorflein patiently raised him with round-the-clock care, feeding, bathing, playing with him, even sleeping alongside him at night. Controversy raged, however, in early days when an animal rights activist reputedly claimed Canute should have been left to die rather than being raised by humans. This stirred enormous media reaction and was the beginning of the public's unwavering support and fascination with the bear.
Happy birthday, lieber Knut! Happy birthday to you!
I'm here because of Knute's birthday. I'm coming from Caracas, Venezuela. Yeah, especially for the birthday of our very loved Knut.
Celebrating with a tempting platter of vegetables, fruit, a whole fish and ice cream, the 100-kilo 1-year-old tucked in happily. This day topped off a bumper year in which Canute's crowd-pulling power had a huge impact on the zoo.
We can say that we had almost 500,000 more paying visitors than last year. Of course, not all of that is down to Canute. The whole year was good. The night house was reopened, 2 kiwis hatched, we had some great things. But all in all, and with good weather, the biggest percentage was Canute. As you say, he brought us more visitors.
The record attendance made the zoo the most profitable it's been in its 163-year history, enabling long-planned renovation work throughout the zoo. More important, however, is that Canute has raised awareness of global warming as symbolised by the plight of endangered polar bears in the Arctic Circle. Canute will further help the preservation of his species when he eventually goes off to another zoo to join bears his own age and to hopefully father cubs of his own. In this quiet part of Brazil, global warming and rising seas are not future possibilities. They are today's grim reality as the township of Atafona disappears into the ocean. An early victim of environmental change, this area has been gradually eroding for several years. To date, 183 buildings have been destroyed and the marine lighthouse moved twice in the past 30 years. Located in a delta in the state of Rio de Janeiro, Atafona is a town of sand near the mouth of the once powerful Paraíba River. Human activity has slowed the river, reducing the amount of sand that reaches Atafona and helps offset erosion. Experts at the Federal Fluminense University believe this is just one of the causes of the town's troubles.
Global warming is a fact. It is happening, and nature is responding. One of the answers, for example, is the strengthening of the winds. The winds are stronger, and in this region, we saw here that the winds provoke the waves, which will in turn provoke sea erosion.
Comparisons show the changes since 1974, when many houses were built near the coastline. This 2003 photo shows how much land has been gobbled up by the sea. Increasing erosion has forced many to abandon their homes and build new ones further from the sea. The fishermen's village was recently rebuilt after the ocean took down their simple houses.
We woke up with the ocean invading our houses. We had to remove our furniture, and everybody helped their neighbours. It was then we had to move and buy another house because the ocean took ours away.
This small island at the mouth of the river used to hold 30 families in the 1950s, but today only 8 houses remain standing. 79 years old, Belita Pedra is the island's oldest resident. In her time, she's seen the power of the ocean unleashed several times.
This house is my 6th home. People had very good houses here, but the ocean swept everything away. My son-in-law became tired of building houses and losing them.
Despite researchers' efforts to predict future environmental changes, Atafona's destiny is pretty much sealed. Prospects are bleak for the local people as the ocean continues to encroach upon their land. Britain's biggest landowner, with more than 1,000 kilometres of coastline and 250,000 hectares of open countryside, is the National Trust. With a mandate to preserve the UK's areas of natural beauty, the Trust is examining strategies for dealing with climate change, which it says is already having an impact.
Everything from coastal erosion, bits of coastline actually falling into the sea, or very high tides or storm surges, to having to mow lawns all winter round because of the warming in the atmosphere, to things like insects eating the textiles in our properties, and lots of localised flooding and quite damaging changes going on the ground.
Carbon emissions from fossil fuels contribute to rising temperatures, causing extreme weather events and environmental havoc. As ancient storehouses for carbon, peatlands are receiving the Trust's close attention.
We're looking at particularly the upland peat moors, where a combination of atmospheric pollution, from the old industrial revolution, and heavy pressure from walkers and moorland fires have all encouraged the peat to erode. So we're trying to put that back. We're trying to make the peatlands wet again. We're trying to plant, for example, bog grasses and other species to consolidate the peat bogs and ensure that they're stable, which is the most important thing.
The first thing we're doing is finding out what exactly are the climate change projections, which are part of the International Programme for Climate Change and applied to the UK. And then we're looking at how will our own land and buildings be affected by climate change, be it increasing frequency of drought, increasing risk of flood, fewer frosts, less snow lie on our mountains, and so on. We're looking to acquire more land on the coastal zone to accommodate the land that will be lost as sea level rises. We're making new habitats so that we can join up the little islands of habitat, so that as climate kind of zones move north up through the UK, the species, the plants and animals and butterflies which rely on those can move as well.
With a long-term vision to protect and preserve the UK's woodland, countryside and coastal regions, the National Trust hopes that measures taken now will enable future generations to also enjoy Britain's natural beauty. Join us again when we bring you more of what matters to keep our world green.